Hi, my name is Matt Bugenhagen. These are my viewers, Glenn, Brittany, Alec, Tony, Connie, and my video man, Nick. I'm going to be demonstrating how to play the game of chess. I'm going to start off by explaining how each piece works, and then I'm going to move on a little more to strategy and how to eventually win the game. This here's a pawn. It's the most common piece on the board. There's 8 of them that make up the front row of the defense. The pawn, when it starts off, can either move 1 space or 2 spaces forward, but after that first move it can only move 1 space forward. Now the pawn's a little different because while it moves 1 space forward regularly, the only way it can capture pieces is if it's on a diagonal immediately 1 space away. The next piece is the rook, or the castle. The castle is a very powerful piece used for defense and offense. The way it moves is side to side or front to back as far as it can go unobstructed. The next piece is the knight. The knight's a little unique because it's the only piece that can jump over other pieces. So say this pawn was here, I would be able to jump all my pieces and take it. The knight's also unique because it moves in an L shape, not straight. The way it goes, it's 2 spaces front or back or side to side, and then 1 space off to the side, so it moves in an L shape. The next piece is the bishop. The bishop is probably the least valuable piece on the board besides the pawn. There's 2. There's one that starts on white and one that starts on black, and since it moves in a diagonal motion, forward or backwards, it always stays on that color. The next piece is the queen. The queen's by far the most powerful piece on the board because it can move in any direction, front, side, back, or on a diagonal. It's really good for defense and offense. I personally like to use it to trap the king and eventually get into checkmate. The next piece is the king. The king's by far the most important piece on the board, even if it's not very powerful, because the whole game is about protecting your king and at the end hopefully getting their king into checkmate. To explain checkmate, I have to first explain how check works. Check works when one of your pieces could take the king on the next move. So this bishop's here, and since it moves diagonally, the next move I could potentially take the king. So the only way to get out of check would be for him to either move his king out of harm's way, or take one of his other pieces, say this knight, and capture the bishop so he would no longer be in check. The queen's a really good piece to get the king in check with because say I have it here, if the king moves, I can still go up, and since the king can't take the queen because he would be back in check, that would be considered checkmate. Chess has been around for about 1,500 years. I personally like the game a lot because it's the only game where you can pit your mind against someone else's. It's really all about outsmarting your opponent the whole time. There's a couple more ways that the game can end up. There's literally millions of ways that a game of chess can go. So say this knight is here. The easiest way I find to get people into checkmate is to get one of my pieces so it can take a piece around the king, and then say I take my queen and I would put it right there. That would be checkmate because the king can't move anywhere where the queen can't get it, and the king can't take the queen because the knight would be there to put him back into check. So that would be considered checkmate. That's sort of the end of my little demonstration. I hope everyone learned a lot. I personally love the game of chess, and I hope everyone else can enjoy it the way I have throughout my life. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you learned something.